Welcome to the new screencast for how to export your files. Seeing as how I already made one, maybe even two, over the weekend and uploaded it, and just now learned that it didn't work. So let me show you how to export your files out of Lightroom. So here I have Lightroom Classic. I've got both versions of Lightroom here. I'll show you how to do it in each. In both cases, so this is something that you do after you have done your edits. So here I'm in the develop module. I'm going to go back here to the library, and you can see there's the photo that I've just made my adjustments to it. I haven't talked about this, but you'll notice the little plus minus here. That is an indicator that you've made adjustments to that photograph. The one next to it, that one there, shows that you have cropped a photograph or adjusted it. And this little symbol here, what's that one mean? Photo is in the collection. Oh, that explains why all the photos have that, but only some of them have been adjusted and or have been cropped. Okay, so this photo right here, I want to export that photo. So I don't just grab it and pull it out. I don't file, save as. I don't do any of that. What I do is I export it out. So I'm using that raw picture. I am creating a new version of it to whatever size I want it to be. So I click the export button. Let me close all of these so I can just walk you through one by one. First thing I have to choose is the export location. Okay, so the export location, right now I am going to just go ahead and just choose my desktop so I can show you where it goes. You can create subfolders, etc. Okay, the key is with all of this, just make sure you know what you're doing. Meaning, like, put it in a place where it's clear to you where it's going, rather than just putting it someplace and then later asking where the hell did it go. Okay, so file naming. I really love the fact that similar to the batch rename options within Photoshop, there are a billion different ways you can do it. You can see this custom text. This is I'll just show you this right here. This is what I had to use for a grant application that I just submitted earlier this morning. Now here you can see I had to use custom text, my last name underscore my first name, followed by a sequence number, a 3-digit sequence number, because I was submitting a sequence of 20 photos, and so it has to have the 0 in front, otherwise they would end up out of order. And then in this case they wanted titles as well. Just way too long for file names, a little stupid. What I normally would recommend. Let's see, I'm going to get rid of those. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of that. And I'm going to do last name underscore original. What's it? Original file name, original number, suffix. Let's just go with original file name. That includes the DSF part. I'm going to change it to original number suffix. Let's see. There we go. Records underscore 2982. That works better. That's something that I would recommend for you. You know, keep the original file number. That way you won't screw it up. Okay, done. Bloop. Video, not going there. Don't need it. File settings, yes, absolutely. Image format, I can choose between JPEG, PSD, TIFF, PNG, DNG, and original. You already know JPEG, PSD, TIFF. You know what those are. PNG is another form of internet-friendly file. It was, I don't know what happened in the world. Pings were supposed to take over the world, and JPEGs were on their way out, but here we are. 20 years since I heard that, and JPEG is still the norm. DNG is a universal digital negative file. It's like a universal RAW format. We don't need that for our purposes. So when you are turning things into me, I will have you turn them in as JPEGs, unless I have you turn them in as maybe DNG files for some things in the future. We'll see. Color space, anything web-based, I leave as sRGB. Quality, anything you're turning into me, just have it up at the maximum of 100. Okay. image sizing. This fluctuates based on whatever our purposes are. I think for most things I have you turn into me, I'll probably have you turn them in at 1500 pixels wide. Okay, so the resolution is 72, the height is 1500 pixels. In this case, I'm choosing 2000 pixels here because this is going into my Instagram folder, and I may as well get a little work done for myself while I'm showing you how things work. So I'm going to make mine 2000 high. Output sharpening. Frankly, the default setting here, sharpen for screen, works pretty darn well. So I would just go ahead and go with that. You can change the amount from low, standard, and high. Standard is my go-to. And then metadata. For my purposes right now, I only want to include the copyright only, but for your purposes, when you submit things to me, you want to get in here and include all metadata. I want to be able to see the shutter speed and the aperture in your camera settings so I can tell, well, frankly, so I can advise. I can try to make you better. So make sure you include all metadata in what you turn into me. But note, for my purposes right now, I'm not using that. Watermarking and post-processing, I'm not going to get into because I'm not going to use either of those, and you don't need to either. So, export. Here's the taskbar up here. That is exporting to the desktop for one individual photo. It's actually a very quick operation. I'm going to open a Finder window and just show you. Boom, there it is. It is done. 1500 pixels wide by 2000 pixels high in my case. Okay, great. Now let me show you the same thing again in the other version of Lightroom. After you have made your edits to a photograph, then you go up here to this little share button. And it's got some default settings, export JPEG small, export JPEG large, export original, etc. But if you click this little button, this is a place where you can put custom settings in here. And as you can tell, I already did this because, like I said, I already recorded this screencast before. File type JPEG, dimensions, custom dimensions, 2000 pixels on the long side, long being the long of the two, and the quality of 100%. So everything I just did in the other window. Also down here I've got the options for all metadata, copyright only, etc. In my case, I'm going to choose copyright only right now. In your case, all metadata always. And then also for color space, export things as sRGB because that's the most common one. Again, output sharpening is set to screen, amount standard. So these are all the same settings that I just used in the other. Export one photograph. Bloop. Again, I have to choose where it's going. There we go. And, ooh, how long does it take? How long does it take? How long does it take? Boom, there we are. Oh, look at that. It didn't give me the option to name it unless I missed that somewhere up in there. So once it is here on my desktop, I guess I have to name it there. There might be a naming option that I just missed, but I guess we'll find out. All right, I'm cutting that. Thanks.